pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, we just ask you to be with us tonight and to bless us in our decisions as we try to do what's best for the city. We pray these things in the name of the Lord. Amen. Amen. Roll call.
Bechtel. Thompson.
Here.
Wilkerson.
Here.
Coward.
Here.
Harville. Elbert.
Here.
Venable.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Okay, do we have any citizens' comments? Do anybody want to speak on behalf of citizens' comments? If you,
Yes.
okay. So if you want to make a comment, you could go to the podium and just sign your name in at the podium. You will have 5 minutes in which to talk. Always let people know that the council probably will not be responding, they'll be listening to you. And if they bring something up, they may raise it in miscellaneous or they may not. And like I say, if you don't feel it's being adequately addressed, you can always call your council person then after that too, so, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Should I go now?
Yes,
Yes. It's okay.
yeah, and you got 5 minutes then, okay?
Thank you for your time. My name is Lydia Stang. I am here to speak about something that I see as an issue. Originally, it's related to management of animals in the city, particularly there was an incident that started back in February of this year, an abuse and neglect case that I believe is still ongoing. And I have taken pictures of this. I reported it to the police and have reported it to other authorities. And I also have noticed, just actually literally this evening, I took video footage. This dog is probably 85 pounds, a pit bull across the street from my house, loose with a collar on. Had I known that this was going to be, I moved here, I bought my house in the fall of 2024. Had I known that animals loose, off leash in public areas was going to be such a problem, at that time I would have started recording it. Twice this week already. Saturday evening, I was walking the trail with my 2 dogs, and there was a man with his dog off leash on the trail. It was a smaller dog, but my dogs don't like smaller dogs. I leash my dogs in public places. If this pit bull, it was in my yard. And it was in my yard. I grabbed my phone because I now realize I have to collect evidence about this. It then traveled across the street. I called the police to let them know. I believe that the chief of police has blocked me from being able to send him emails because I've checked my my sent account and they're not going there. It is a problem. If this dog, it's an unknown dog. I don't know anything about this dog, and it's not the dog's fault. It is the owner's responsibility to properly contain it, and there are ordinances in place for that are not being followed. As far as the animal abuse and neglect case, I have more information that I would like to share, images, emails that I've sent, and things of that nature. And I do have a suggestion that I would like to offer as far as the ordinances go related to that. I have a suggestion on what I think would be an appropriate ordinance, because currently the ordinance states that one of the ordinances states that an animal is to be tethered no more than 9 hours a day. When I talked to the police about this abuse and neglect case, they told me, well, you can't prove that the animal is being tied out for 9 hours a day. It's not coincidence that every time I drive by, these animals are tied out. And if an ordinance is not something that can be measured or proved, in my opinion, it's a flawed ordinance. And I have a really nice suggestion of what I think would be an appropriate ordinance that would protect animals, would protect the public, But currently, my biggest concern, I'm still concerned about the animal abuse and neglect case. However, I'm also very concerned because I don't feel safe at all to walk my dogs on the street, at Rolling Hills Park, on Katy Trail, for example. I have other videos. But this one was just this evening of this pip, right before I came here. It was about 6:15 p.m. But I have others, and if I had taken video footage or pictures of this from the time that I moved here up until this point, probably 15 occurrences, and those are just when I'm out. I have a friend who lives here who just shared an incident that happened with her at Harley Park and also Rolling Hills Park. And so I just want to bring this to your attention because I want to feel safe walking my animals. I really enjoy walking, and I don't want any harm to come to my dogs when we're walking. They're Australian Shepherds, they can be reactive, and I keep them leashed. And I really think that there's something going on in the community, and the public is not respecting the ordinances, and it's going to result in harm to a human, a child, or an animal. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I interject just for a moment? Lydia, my name's Brad Woolridge. I'm the city councilor, so I'm the one that also acts as the city attorney in regards to ordinance enforcement. If you would like, find my city email is online. I would be happy to follow up with you and discuss your ordinance language or some of the concerns you have with the existing ordinances, so we can see if there's some middle ground or if there's some other enforcement mechanisms out there.
Yes, that would be amazing. And I would like, if there's an opportunity where I could speak further and share some of the other details that I have. I don't know how to do
What
that.
I would like to do is have some discussion with you via email, and then I can circle back and follow up with the council and then keep you in the loop. So if there is a time where we need to put something else on the agenda to allow you more time, we do it then.
Amazing. Thank you. And your Brad
Woolridge, yeah.
And your email will be
On the city website.
on the city website. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And do we have any other citizens' comments, public comments? Okay, we'll move on then to approval of minutes. The June 1st council minutes are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as were in your packet? If not, the minutes will stand approved. Consent items, there are two. Item A is consider change order number 5 in the amount of $43,421.16 to C.L. Richardson for water and sewer improvements 2025. Item B is consider change order number 6 in the amount of $68,876.35 to C.L. Richardson Construction for water and sewer improvements 2025. As I understand it, we can have a motion to approve both of those together, or we can do them each one at a time, so whatever the council prefers.
Mayor, I move that we approve both consent items.
Okay. I have a motion to approve both consent items A and B. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Roll call.
Thompson,
Yay.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Good. Move on to item 6, presentation of accounts and claims. A, appropriations.
Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, the purpose of paying salaries in various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on 6/15/2026, the sum of $575,365.89. General fund, $246,732.49. Sanitation, $80,020.04. CIP tax, $22,775.65. Waterworks, $65,950.41. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $33,538.86. Tourism, $10,830.56. Gaming, $76,331.24. Parks and Water, $39,186.64. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks from the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $575,365.89, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage, first reading on 6/15/2026, read for the second time for the 6/15/2026, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I move that we approve this ordinance appropriating money.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second the ordinance.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on the ordinance? Roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Coward,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item 7, unfinished business. There appears to be none, so we'll move on to item 8, new business. Item A, first reading of bill number 2026-011, approving a final site plan for Foursquare Church at 601 West Ashley Road.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri approving the final site plan for Foursquare Christian Church located at 601 West Ashley Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay, so then we'll move on to item 9, reports of standing committees. I guess Cy is not here on planning and zoning. I actually attended that meeting. I think that also the minutes are in the packet. I would point out on the site plan for the Foursquare Church, there were some discussed changes and variances as to the outside appearance of the building. Those really aren't contained in what's in the first reading, so that will be updated before the second reading that you receive in July to review. But I think the board, I think, felt that met the concept of what we're trying to accomplish with a building being close to a major thoroughfare or corridor road. So short of that, that was the primary thing that was discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. So, I guess Board of Public Works meeting minutes were in the May 28th, 2026. Does anybody have any questions or comments as to those? Okay. We'll move on to item 10, reports of city officials. As mayor, I don't think I have anything additional to add today. City administrator obviously does not have anything to add tonight. City clerk.
Nothing.
Okay. City councilor.
Nothing to this point, but I would be open during miscellaneous if anybody had any questions in regards to enforcement from the public comments in regards to our animal control violations or animal control laws. So.
Okay. Under item 11, miscellaneous, there was an A, Public Works Monthly Report, May 2026, which was attached to your packet. Are there any other items under miscellaneous that the council wishes to discuss?
Just one thing, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Leah, would you mind stating your street that you live in?
407 West Spring Street.
West Spring, thank you.
So could we get an overview of what's currently in ordinances?
So generally speaking, the things that if you guys aren't aware, I wear two different hats as the attorney for the city. I'm the city attorney that prosecutes municipal ordinance violations. And then my role here is as general counsel to advise on legal matters to the city. So oftentimes, I'm wearing the same hat with two different roles as far as drafting new ordinances or revisions to existing ordinances for enforcement as city attorney when law enforcement is called to ticket someone or to bring to me a report in regard to an animal at large or potentially dangerous animals. So what I had suggested to what was your first name? Lydia. To when Lydia was making the comments, I think that the idea is to go kind of explore what her concerns are. Normally, law enforcement, I can say, does a good job of enforcing the leash laws because I regularly see tickets for animals at large. Unfortunately, those are difficult to enforce unless we actually have proof where law enforcement shows up, sees, and can confirm. So I think exploring some of the concerns you have and some of the evidence you have will be helpful to me to communicate with law enforcement on, okay, I know some of these things are happening. Let's look at where we need to go here, whether I get reports and then draft what's called an information, which is different from a citation or a ticket. An information is something I can draft based on evidence that's been presented to me for violations of the existing ordinances. Normally, the ones that are more difficult to work through are dangerous animals that often happens as a result, unfortunately, of a dog bite situation, whether it's another animal or a human. I feel law enforcement does do a good job, but it is difficult to cite when and where exact violations occur. But that's why I suggested communicating with directly a member of the public in regards to what they're seeing in their neighborhood will kind of give me an open eye on, okay, how do we kind of view this particular situation with other known problems in other neighborhoods, because we see it regularly. So I think the best path is conversation.
And I'll add too that Lydia is in my ward, so her and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, now about an hour in length, and she did share in much more detail than what she shared tonight, and a lot of it is very concerning. So, and I encourage her to come tonight to bring it before the council.
Yeah,
so
I think
we
this is
keep
where
the
it starts.
conversation going. Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So just please include me in
Yeah, for sure.
on those conversations. So, yeah.
Ma'am, I know one comment was made about contacting with Chief Ayers, so he's here, so if you want to, if you'd like to exchange contact, it might be a good thing for exchange emails, we can clear that up right away.
And if I could say one last thing, circling back to your question, Hallie, is oftentimes when those citations or tickets come in front of me for prosecution, I often look at probationary sentences initially, where I can say, look, I'm not gonna throw the book at you for this first time offense for animal at large, but here's what the repercussions are. Should we see a second or subsequent offenses, fines start going up. Again, the more serious concerns are once we get into dangerous animal citations, because under our current ordinance, if it is a straight conviction for dangerous animal, normally that mandates that animal be put down. I personally don't have any pets, but I know the people that have pets love their pets. So that becomes a precarious situation when there is an incident where something goes wrong, where there's a big dog, little dog, and there's a bite. And so we try to circumvent people's emotions when it comes to their pets. But a lot of times we initially start off with probationary sentences where I can say, look, if it happens again, you're going to have them come in front of the judge again, and now we're looking at some more severe discipline. So, but I think the best place to start is having a conversation with you directly. So.
Is there ever instances where they get their dog taken away because they can't keep them
Absolutely.
on the leash?
No, absolutely, and then that throws a whole nother wrench into it with animal control, and then the city being responsible to board those animals.
Right.
And then deal with them and quarantine them if there is a bite situation, and then how long do we quarantine them? Oftentimes I run into situations where I have to ask the animal owner to forfeit the animal to animal control because they can't control their animal. At that point in time, that's when we look for full forfeiture of the animal. Then we look at having that animal fixed, cleaned up, made healthy, and then put up for adoption. So there are a lot of moving parts in the animal control ordinances. So.
Anything else under miscellaneous? Okay, if not, I'm open for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Yeah, have a motion and a second. I guess we'll just do voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.